Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah, and this is Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto and the Super Coffee Extra Strong Espresso Strength Just Black Please coffee. I hope everybody's doing well and that you've come out of the food coma, and that if you had a weekend that wasn't to your liking, to how you are used to doing your food issues, that you're able to get back on track. So this could be a messy Monday kind of day of the extreme, right? I Yeah, working in a grocery store, you just see the most incredible things. And somebody yesterday ordered every bakery pie that we have, along with all the Edwards sweeter ones. You know, the bakery ones are not quite as sweet as the Edwards one in the freezer. It's like, how many people are you having? Their orders are like $356, right? Crazy. And you just, I mean, I'm as addicted to carbs and sugar and food as much as the next person, but there's some things that I know are triggers and that I never go near anymore. And so that's a blessing in itself. So I have a short list of things that I know probably not the best to be around. And if you had gatherings this week and they were at your house, or you had company this week, or any of the things that could have happened this last, holiday week, because as we know, because especially because of the pandemic and all the things that we didn't have for a while, you know, that we just go to overdone for like a weekend with people. And so if you have the items in your house that, oh my, you wish you didn't have and you didn't eat and have, it's going to be a tough one. The trash, get another trash bag out and just do it and bring it where you need to bring it so it's not calling out to you. I'm as vulnerable as the next person with my food. And because of my new computer and such, Google was telling me that I had an overload of pictures and storage, and that, I had to buy more space if I wanted to make it work. So I was looking at a lot of my keto meals, and there's it's the most doable program in the world, right? And I feel so blessed to still love doing it. In a recent video of Food Finds, I did the macadamia, no, not macadamia, the ghee spray as one of the Food Finds, and it was very expensive, and I've run out, so it doesn't last that long. So my staples still on my where I cook are the avocado oil, the extra virgin olive oil, the macadamia nut oil. I do have the sprays, coconut, evu, macadamia nut, ghee, but I don't think I'll be replacing the ghee and the macadamia nut. But the two jugs of the organic ghee from Carrington, which was like $42, $45 from Amazon, and the coconut oil that I got at BJ's that is organic, unrefined. That's what you look for with your coconut oil. And I'll use those two jugs more than a spray. What's the diff, right? Especially when you're spending like $8 or $9 for a spray that lasts less than a month. Yeah, no, I'll just put coconut oil, butter, or ghee in the pan if I'm cooking or sautéing something. But I'm not afraid of the fat. And in looking at my old videos of OMADs and meals I put together, it shows I'm not afraid of the fat. Yesterday, we had a pork roast with shredded Brussels sprouts, shaved Brussels sprouts, shredded carrots, parsnips, turnip, the pork. I don't know, but I cracked open a new jar of ghee, Fourth and Heart, and I put a dollop of ghee in that mixture. It was just divine. And I had a baby butter red organic leaf salad next to it with the baby bella mushrooms. And I put the salad aside. I'll have it tonight with my steak from the big green egg. But yeah, because the bowl was just it was just so divine. I love veggies, and so I feel grateful to have a lot of my food issues. You know, they're kind of tamped down. I didn't go crazy with the carbs over the weekend, although I did allow some, festive, holiday-ish items just because. And I don't believe in deprivation the way that I used to believe in it. I used to treat my carb, food, sugar addiction more like my alcohol addiction, and that I had to abstain 100% to be safe. And over the past couple of years, I've really worked hard on having moderate amounts of something in place instead of letting that deprivation build. And I've always said that my food addiction is different than the alcohol because you don't need to drink alcohol to exist, but you do need to eat food. And so there's always been that, place of having to be safe. I was just listening to a Dr. Cyrus. If none of you, if you don't know him, it's Cywes, and he does a lot with food addiction, sugar addiction, carb addiction. And I was listening to him, and he was talking about, just going without and not having it in the house. And if it's in the house, you're going to have it eventually, even if you have a couple of moments of being good and not doing it, that if something's in the freezer or the fridge, it will end up in your mouth, in your belly. But I've really worked hard on my food, sugar, carb addictions over the last couple of years and just slowly found what works, what doesn't work. And I know my kryptonite. And maybe you guys know yours too. And I really can't go near it. And if I do, I have to go months without ever having it again because it's like if it's there, it's gone. But there's other things that I'm able to handle a little bit better. And for that, I feel blessed. I don't believe in the deprivation after going through what we went through with the pandemic and just the stress of the day, what we have to do. I mean, it's just like I remember this lovely lady I used to work with, and she said, Sarah, behind every mountain range is another mountain range. And she's so right. It's like if you deal with the mountain range that's ahead of you and you do your pick into the rocks and you pull yourself up and you get up, 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 and you'll see that there's another mountain range. There's always another stressful thing. After like my computer breaking down and getting a new computer, what goes, is a TV. What goes is like a light bulb that's a special light bulb that you have to special order, or there's a, supply chain issue with that type of light bulb. There's always some little next that's going to be, it's going to be a stressor. And so how we deal with it is the difference between success with our food plan. If you're like me, food is what matters. I had a very stressful situation at work and I ended up having a meltdown with my boss. Oh my God. It's all for the better. It really is. But, I cried like I haven't cried in like years. And I felt so vulnerable and fragile. But, I kept saying to him that, food is my salvation and comfort. And, don't worry, I'll get over it. I'll just go home and bury my face in food. And, he's used to me being sarcastic, and he just doesn't know that as a food addict, yeah, that's what I do. Mm, mm. Somebody wrote in the comments that they're trying to get to the just black please phase in their, just evolving and what they do. And how did I do it? And it wasn't overnight for sure. And Dr. Cyrus was talking about giving up the sweetener in his coffee. And he said, he held up his thermos and he said, this is, what I had to work on. And he said, going without sugar was god awful for like the first 9 or 10 days. And now he said you'd have to rip that unsweetened coffee from his bony hands because he got used to it and said, "Oh, maybe it's not that bad." It's like I understand. So it's like if you have your loaded coffee like this and it's like one little thing at a time to get to the just black. And I know that the way that I feel about something, there's some things that I really worked hard on allowing. There's some things that I really wanted to give up. And one of those was loaded coffee. The other was gum and any breath saver during the day to get to that clean intermittent fasting place. And so I wanted the result more than I wanted the give up still in my life. And so with the loaded coffee, it was just one part of it at a time. It was the whitener, the sweetener, and the fat that I loaded and, whipped it up in my magic bullet. I mean, it was quite the process. It was like, just it's like, really, this is all that you do for that darn cup of coffee? And it's like, yeah, it is. That's how I was. Each thing being so particular. Goldilocks was like in control with all of it. And but then I wanted the just black. I wanted that more than I wanted anything that I had in the coffee. And so it was like, pulling away the sweetener, the whitener, the fat part of the coffee. And then, ending up with just this little 2 ounce thing that I refill a few times during my morning routine of videos and emails and everything else. And it works, but I wanted it. And so it really became a result driven give up. But I knew it wasn't overnight. Like my smoking and my drinking. I went from smoking and drinking to nothing. I didn't need either of those substances to live, but I did need the weaning process with food. Does that make sense? Do any of you do that? Also in the video, he was talking about the wannabe foods and having, the fake pizza crust, the fake rice, the fake bread, things like that. He's not a believer in any of those things. And I don't. I consider them sometimes crutches, sometimes they work, sometimes people like the taste of them. I have a bunch of cauliflower crusts in my freezer. I'm not using them right now. We haven't had a pizza night in a long time, but I ended up liking the taste and adapting to the taste and feeling like, oh, these pizzas are pretty good. So it wasn't like, oh, I really don't like this, but I'll make do because I want a crust. It wasn't like that. I enjoyed that. The fathead pizza crust, loved that. I'd like to have one of those right now. Um, and so, there are some alternatives that I I was introduced to along my way into my through my keto journey that I ended up liking and liking more than what the original was. And so some things stick and stay, like cauliflower crumbles. I love cauliflower crumbles instead of rice. To me, it's my new normal, and I wouldn't question it, and I don't overcook them, so they are kind of, kernely and a little bit hard like rice. And that works out fine for me, but for some people the fake part doesn't work. It is just a substitute. They turn their nose up at it. The first time they can have the real deal, they would. It's discovering what works for you, right? There's no wrong way to do your food plan. It's finding the sweet spot, that place of bliss, the place of contentment where you don't feel, that you're deprived. You don't feel that, Goldilocks has to do without. that there's just solutions to certain items staying or being kicked to the curb and having the result that you want. And so, it's not overnight. Don't beat yourself up. And if you're coming off this weekend and it's a very messy Monday, go easy. It's like you did what you did, right? We all have our reasons. Food is, if you're watching this and you're older, food is an emotion. I'm hungry. I'm full. I'm stuffed. I'm disgusted. All of those things relate to me with my food issues, and maybe the same for you. So ease up. It's a day at a time. We do the best we can with what we've got. And if you're not into deprivation like me, good for you. And if you are into deprivation because things are still too dangerous for you, good for you. Hold on to that. That is definitely a gift for as long as it is. So anyway, I've gone rather long. Hi, Freddie. And it's time for me to get ready to go. As you can see, I'm partially done with the hair, the buff, and the earrings. So anyway, I will see you here the next time on Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto and Goldilocks, also known as Sarah. It's been my pleasure to be with you. I'll see you here the next time. And messy Mondays, to be expected. Don't beat yourself up. I'll see you here the next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.